Happy Valentine's Day.
I'm just sitting here.
Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, Book Omens. I am Mara Lee, and today I thought it would be fun to do a Valentine's Day book tag. I based the questions that I'm using today from Heather at Bookable's tag video, and I will be sure to link her video in my description below. Before we begin, I want to have a little disclaimer. I am by no means a romance book expert. I don't actually read a whole lot of romance, and in fact, my tastes have changed over the years. I'm really just realizing this recently. So yeah, I usually like romance books I read to have other things going on in the plot as well. So the romance is a part of it, but not necessarily like the entirely main focus of it. I like the characters to be working through challenges that they're facing and, things like that. That being said, I do have certain tropes and things that I love and prefer in romance books. So let's start with question number 1. What is your favorite basic romance plot or like a trope that you love? So I love forbidden love. It's all of that angst and repressed feelings, and it's like they feel like they'll never be able to be together because the world will fall apart if they get together. And your heart's just breaking for them because they love each other so much, and it would just be so good if they got together. So number 2 is, what's your favorite classic romance? My answer to that would be all of the Jane Austen. My favorite of the Jane Austen books is Persuasion. See, there's that forbidden love and repressed feelings things going on there. And also Continuing to Love After All Hope is Lost. I also really love Pride and Prejudice. I mean, hello, Mr. Darcy. And with Northanger Abbey, it's Mr. Tilney. He's just wonderful in this. He teases Catherine and he has fun with her. And Sense and Sensibility, hello again, repressed feelings. And then there's Emma. Emma has the friends to lovers thing going on. The only book that I don't absolutely love would be Mansfield Park. Now, I am of the opinion that Edmund does not deserve Fanny. No one does. Fanny is this perfect saint of a woman who puts up with so much. And in the end, Edmund just doesn't deserve her. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion to have. I haven't really talked to very many people about this book, but my daughter and I have talked about it endlessly, and we both believe firmly that Edmund does not deserve Fanny. So number 3 is favorite feel-good romance, and I picked out 2 books for this category. I have The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. I actually quite enjoy several of her books. I haven't read them all, but every one that I have read I like. And this book is about 17-year-old Hadley who basically misses her flight, and I think she's living in England. It's been a long time since I've read this, but she's living in England, and so she needs to go home because she is going to her father's wedding, and she barely knows or doesn't even know at all her new stepmother, and she's so she's not thrilled about that, but she meets this guy, and I do want to say that I remember reading it, and I'm not a huge fan of love at first sight trope, but I really feel like this wasn't exactly that. Yes, they were attracted to each other and all of that, but it was deeper than that, and I just really enjoyed this book, and so it's definitely a feel-good romance. Another romance that I absolutely love is Landline. Now, I guess once I stopped to think about it, I'm not sure if Rainbow Rowell is the author. I'm not sure if Landline is... it is about a married couple and they are having some issues and working through them. But the thing that I loved about it, the thing that really spoke to me, is that the premise of this book, there's a little bit of magical realism because the main character, she finds that she can speak to her husband in the past, like on the telephone. And so she's speaking to his past self and kind of falling in love with him again. And that is just something that really spoke to me, and I just loved that idea, and I actually really loved that book. Number 4 is favorite sad romance, and for that I chose 5 Feet Apart. Now, I did talk about this book not long ago in my best of 2019, so I will link that below, but this is basically a forbidden love story about 2 teenagers who have cystic fibrosis, and in order to stay as healthy as they can't get any closer to each other than 6 feet apart. And my heart just breaks for them. I love this story. I cried so much when I read it, and it is just a really beautiful story, but it is sad. Number 5 is what is the favorite genre that you like to have romance added to? And so I actually really prefer the romance in contemporary books. Like I said before, I don't want it to be the sole focus, but I like it added to contemporary books. I also think it's fun when it's added into fantasy. For example, I recently read Curse So Dark and Lonely, and that was really fun. Yeah, I would say contemporary and fantasy. So, question number 6 is what is your least favorite romance of all time? I don't know that I actually really have a least favorite. I usually try but fail. I'm terrible at DNFing. Yeah, I would say though that there is a character that I don't love, and that would be in To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I didn't like Peter Kavinsky in the book. I just felt like he wasn't that great. However, I did watch the movie when it came out, and I love the movie. It's so cute. I feel like they softened Peter's character just a little bit, so he was more likable in that sense. So I guess ultimately I liked the movie a little bit better than the book because I was able to like Peter Kavinsky better in the movie. Number 7 is favorite literary couple of all time. And for that, I have to go with Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Lizzie is a perfect match for Mr. Darcy, and it is my firm belief that Mr. Darcy wouldn't be half the man I imagine he turns out to be if he didn't have Lizzie by his side. Number 8 is if you could have one literary significant other, who would it be? Now, my answer for that, again, going back to Jane Austen, I would choose Mr. Tilney from Northanger Abbey. Henry Tilney is just the best. He genuinely cares for Catherine, and he is amused by her, and he teases her, and they just have fun together. If you haven't seen the movie that has J.J. Field playing the part of Mr. Tilney, I highly recommend it. It's so fun and sweet. Question number 9 is do you have a special someone for Valentine's Day? And yes, I do. I have my husband. We are going on almost 22 years of marriage, which makes me feel old. And then I also have our 2 children who are just great kids all around, and I consider them to be my Valentines as well. Number 10 is favorite Valentine's Day candy. My tastes are simple. I like chocolate. I like Cadbury's brand, and it has to be milk chocolate. None of that dark chocolate junk because I don't like it. Number 11, will you wear red, pink, or white, or none of the above on Valentine's Day? I don't really plan my outfits like that. It just depends on the day. I'm filming this just a few days before Valentine's Day. I'm wearing blue currently, as you can see. I might put on a pink shirt or something, but we'll just have to see. On to number 12, favorite romance movie. So I would have to say all the Jane Austens, all of them. I also really like You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, and also Dan in Real Life. I'm not sure how well the movie Dan in Real Life is known. It stars Steve Carell from The Office, but he actually does a really good job of playing not a crazy character, but like a normal guy who is struggling with the loss of his wife. The movie is about a second chance at love, and it's just really heartwarming, and I love it. So question number 13 is favorite love songs. I actually recently realized once my kids pointed it out to me that I kind of have a thing for the tragic when it comes to love songs. They're all sad, but I love them. Clearly, since I'm going to talk about them shortly. I like Little Talks by Of Monsters and Men. I like I Won't Give Up by Jason Mraz. Soldier by Ingrid Michaelson. Then there's All Too Well by Taylor Swift. And a lighter, more fun song that I really like is Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. And lastly, a great old school one would be In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. And number 14 is what is your favorite thing about Valentine's Day? And my favorite thing is just that I use it as a reminder to think about the ones that I love and take my time to let them know that I appreciate them and I love them. Number 15 is what is your least favorite thing about Valentine's Day? The idea that you have to have somebody special in your life to be able to celebrate Valentine's Day. I feel like if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day by yourself or with your partner or with your children, celebrate the way that you want to. Celebrate the way that's meaningful for you. If you want to ignore it, fine. If you want to celebrate it and have fun and you're by yourself, that's also fine because you as an individual are worth celebrating just on your own. Basically, just make the day what you want it to be. So the last question is, what will you be doing on this Valentine's Day? And I plan to order a pizza so I don't have to cook dinner and watch a movie with my kids and my husband. We just enjoy a good cozy night like that, and that is my idea of a good evening. I might round out the night with a fun reading session and then, go to bed early because sleep is important. Well, that is it for now. I hope you all have a wonderful and happy Valentine's Day yourself, and let me know down in the comments a romance book that you have read and enjoyed recently. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time in a new video. Bye.